The Auditor-General Tsakani Maluleke is now acknowledging that the state of local government is deeply concerning, calling for an urgent need for accountability and reform. Maluleke also warning that governance failures in municipalities continue to undermine the important progress made in various parts of the country. She was speaking as she addressed the two-day local government indaba in Midrand, aimed at assessing and finding solutions to problems plaguing our councils. Newzroom Afrika's Ziniko Mhlaba joins us now live for more. Ziniko, good afternoon to you. We've seen this Auditor-General, the Auditor-General before her, the Auditor-General before him, the Auditor-General before him, and I think the Auditor-General before him, all calling for more accountability from local government. What is our current Auditor-General calling for?
Well, this current Auditor-General, Stephen, is calling for even more drastic measures, saying that, well, actually the country will do much better with just one sphere of government, saying that having local, provincial and national spheres of government, it does not do justice, to the residents of this country when it comes to them getting the basic services they need, saying that, well, government needs to have a consolidated approach in terms of addressing some of these challenges you mentioned in your intro, but also saying that would help in terms of ensuring that resources, specifically when it comes to financial resources, can be better managed if there's one sphere of government. So that's what came out from that message of support by the Auditor General. But also what has been coming out is the issue of accountability, political interference at various municipalities, whether we're talking about municipalities at a metropolitan level or just at a base level, which is the local government sphere when it comes to municipalities. So I'm joined now by Mr. Matthew Parks from COSATU, just to get a sense of what is it that workers can do or should be doing in terms of addressing these issues. We've been addressing weaknesses of politicians and members of the executive and how their actions impact the vulnerable people on the ground. Workers have a role to play as laborers of the municipality, but also as vanguards of the working class. What is it that trade unions have not been doing?
Yeah. So I think first, number one, the context is very scary. We've seen the number of municipalities in financial distress over the last decade going from 10% to about 70%. We've seen many municipalities fail to provide basic services to working class communities. We've seen up to about 3 dozen specifically in the Northwestern Free State, Northern Cape and Eastern Cape, failing to pay their staff. That they expect staff to be able to go to work, to be able to pay for transport, to get to work, to perform their functions, but they don't get paid for months at a time. One municipality in the Northern Cape didn't pay workers for 12 months. One in the Eastern Cape gave workers pick and pay vouchers for 6 months. So it's a real crisis. We have about 160 municipal pension funds not being paid what is required to be paid. And if you look at all the indicators, whichever ones you take, from the AEG and so on, it tends to be the same municipalities. We need to have a real revised approach to how we deal with it. Some municipalities like Disabotla have been put under administration about 5 times in the last decade. It's not working. So you've got to deal with the structural issues, making sure that you appoint competent management. You have some municipalities, you don't have any manager with a matric certificate. It's a crisis. You've got to deal with the issue of corruption, remove corrupt elements. But also over the last 30 years, the mandate for municipalities has been steadily increasing all the time. But funding for them has not been increasing. So you need to clarify what is the role of municipalities, what functions must they perform, make sure we give them the right funding to do that. So we need to revise the municipal funding model, but also we need to ask ourselves honestly, if these ones are 70% of them are in financial trouble, can we afford 257 municipalities with the mayors, with the speakers, with 9,500 councils, with so many municipal managers, etc. Perhaps we need to see, can we consolidate some of them where it would make sense? But we need to have a holistic approach, but what we can't do is to continue to kick the can down the road. As COSATU, as SAMU, our municipal affiliate, we've been intervening time and again. We've been raising the alarm bells at Parliament, specifically listing which municipalities don't pay their staff, don't pay pension funds, etc. We've been also raising interventions needed around public procurement, which is the epicenter of corruption. We've gotten the Public Procurement Act through Parliament, but it needs to be strengthened to make it really binding upon local government. But also our municipalities, our workers have been raising alarm bells. They've been marching in Machebeng, in Maluleke, in Ditsobotla, in Tswaing, in Mahikeng. The culprits are long. Sometimes we've even been forced to go to court as well, but we need to see a coherent set of intervention from government.
Yeah. So, Mr. Parks, in closing, talks about whether this is the right approach in terms of addressing those issues from your side.
We've got to deal with the structural issues, because just putting plasters on the wound is not going to resolve it. We've been doing that for the last 10 years, and it's getting to us to a point of almost no return. So I think this in Mhlaba is a good thing. I think the approach to the new minister, our engagement with him has been quite positive. I think his team has had an open and honest approach. That's what we need. But we need to have Treasury on board to make sure we deal with the financing issue. We have to have law enforcement on board to make sure we arrest the criminals who steal. We also need to make sure we capacitate local government to collect municipal tariffs, electricity tariffs, etc., because you're providing services like electricity or water. If companies, if consumers, if businesses don't pay, then it's going to collapse the system. So we've got to do it holistically, otherwise we're going to be in deep, deep trouble.
Thank you very much, Mr. Parks, for your time, sir. That's Mr. Matthew Parks, the parliamentary coordinator of COSATU, representing the municipality affiliate when it comes to municipalities. Some giving us insights in terms of how bad the situation is, but some of their own proposed solutions to some of the problems which have been highly, reflected on here at this local government in Mhlaba in Midrand, Johannesburg.